Hey everyone, today's review is on the long-awaited sequel to Aquaman, Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. So the plot of this movie is after the events of the first movie, Aquaman is ruler of Atlantis while also simultaneously living on land, and him and Mara are both married and they also have a baby named Arthur Jr. And one day they find out that Aquaman comes home and find out his lighthouse on land is being burnt down and it was done by Black Manta who still holds a grudge against Aquaman for him mistakenly killing his father. So, and Black Manta also goes throughout the sea to obtain a trident called the Black Trident, which is a giant trident which obtains a black magic within it. So, he has to travel throughout the seven seas to stop Black Manta from obtaining the trident, and he has to team up with an unlikely partner, Orm. Yeah, his brother that they didn't get along with. So they both go throughout the seven seas to go to the Lost Kingdom of Necros and stop Black Manta from obtaining the black magic and taking over all the seven seas and eventually the world. I had very low expectations for this movie. Like last year was a pretty lackluster year for comic book movies. I loved Across the Spider Verse and Mutant Mayhem and Shazam: Fury of the Gods, but that was it. Quantumania was okay. Flash was eh. Blue Beetle was also eh. So I didn't really have much high hopes for this. I thought this probably was gonna suck, and this movie had 3 rounds of reshoots apparently. But after seeing the movie, I actually thought it was okay. I actually didn't mind it. There's some things in it that are pretty bad, but there's was enough in it for me to say I liked it. I liked it more than The Flash and Blue Beetle, so I guess there's that. For for the final year of the DCEU, which was unintentional, it was a pretty lackluster year. Like Shazam: Fear of the Gods was really good, but other than that, it just went out with a whimper. Like if you treat this movie as an Aquaman sequel, it's fine. Like it's really fine, but as a finale to a franchise, it's not good and it's underwhelming. But I mean, when it's an Aquaman movie, it's a pretty good Aquaman movie. Like it definitely has that Silver Age Aquaman vibe, which that was always meant to be the style and tone for this movie. And yeah, you can rightfully see why, because there's a lot of lots of strange. You get lots of surreal, strange sequences underwater, and that's definitely on point with like '60s era Aquaman. Even though I really feel that defeats the purpose of what the DCEU was trying to do with Aquaman, where he's not a joke anymore. In this movie, he's mostly not a joke. There's some really stupid moments. Like the movie literally begins with Aquaman raising his baby, and he's changing the baby's diaper, and he gets pissed on. That's literally one of the one of the first few things you see in this movie. You see him get pissed on. And he even literally says, "I talk to fish." Like there's an opening narration where he says, "So what do I do exactly? I talk to fish." Aquaman was ridiculed for a really long time purely because of the fact that he talked to fish, and now these movies were trying to establish Aquaman won't be a joke anymore. We'll prove he's cool, and now they're just making him a joke. And just like in Peacemaker, although this is nowhere as bad as Peacemaker. Oh God, no, no, this is not Peacemaker bad. This is just fine. Like it was just okay. There were definitely other things I liked in it. Like the visual effects, just like the first one, are really good. Lots of the sea creatures look amazing. Like you get lots of really good, weird looking monster like characters. It's kind of, I guess James Wan did kind of bring his horror elements to this movie by having them look like kind of weird fish sea monster creatures, and I like that they did just like in the first movie when he did with those trench monsters. So I like that they did that, and it definitely you see like an there's also this octopus named Topo who was in the comics. I did like seeing him for seeing him briefly for a bit as like a little pet sidekick. He's not in it that much, but it was a nice little callback. And yeah, for a modern Silver Age style Aquaman movie, I think like when it's an Aquaman movie, it's a pretty good Aquaman movie. But like, yeah, there isn't a heck of a lot of stupid jokes in this movie. There's like maybe like 3% of this movie's stupid humor. It's not constant like a Phase 3 MCU movie or like Peacemaker or anything like that. No, like it's just stupid in some aspects. Like at times, like there's an occasion where it does get a bit Thor Ragnarokish. Although, no, this is not Thor Ragnarok. Thor Ragnarok is just that movie's a joke. This movie, at least when it's good, it is pretty good. It does have a lot of great visuals. I do like the underwater setting, just like the first movie. Because what I loved about the first Aquaman was that it was not a typical superhero movie. It was much like Avatar. It explored like a big fantasy world, and it brought something new to the superhero genre instead of just having a character in an urban setting. It actually explored a wide area, and even some other Silver Age aspects. Like I like his stealth suit, which even though in the comics Aquaman's stealth suit was just ocean colored, it was just like an ocean blue tone. But in this movie, it's actually a camouflage suit, which that's kind of cool. I actually do really like that, and even the idea of the black trident, which wasn't a thing in the comics, but I think that's also a cool idea. It also adds to the big fantasy kind of 60s comic book era of like having like supernatural magic. Like I think it's a really neat idea, but yeah, like some of the dialogue is kind of uninspired. Like Black Manta was not. I he was cool in the first movie. In this, he just felt like a basic, lame, one-dimensional comic book villain. Like a lot of his dialogue is uninspired. Like I'm gonna kill Aquaman and destroy everything he loves, dear. I'm gonna burn his place to the ground. Or first you steal your brother's throne, now you steal his woman, Aquaman. Shame on you. Like yeah, like it's really bad. Like cheesy Silver Age comic book dialogue. Like it's pretty bad. And they also changed Kordax, who's in this movie. And if you don't know, Kordax in the comics was an ancestor of Aquaman who had power over sea life, and he returned and he also he was born to this queen who abandoned him because of his green scaled body, but because of his superpowers he was able to survive. And then he seeks revenge on Atlantis because after he returned to Atlantis he was punished with his hand being cut off, and so he returns to get revenge. So that's cool. Like that would be cool. Like I could see that working in a movie, but here he's just an undead ruler of a kingdom, adding to the kind of monster film movie type era, which we already saw in the first movie with the trench monster. So it didn't really add a heck of a lot. And yeah, Mara is in a couple scenes, and like I said, like the reshoots and editing make it really obvious they didn't want the audience to see Amber Heard in this because Mara's only like in a couple scenes and she does nothing. It's pretty stupid. Like yeah, when it's an Aquaman movie, it's pretty good, although sometimes the tone is a little inconsistent. Like, I mean, the first movie was lighthearted, but it at least balanced out the lightness and the action at the same time. It wasn't too overly humorous. I mean, this movie wasn't too overly humorous either, thank God, unlike most superhero movies nowadays, but it's it's fine as an Aquaman movie, but as a finale to a big franchise, it's underwhelming. It's like you can just skip this. Like if you want to see how the DCU wraps up, just don't bother. If because this movie, it's just an Aquaman movie, and that's really it. It goes out on a whimper. It's not something to be. I mean, would I watch this movie again? Mm, I could like it wouldn't hurt. Like if I watched this in the first back to back, maybe I would like this movie less. But I don't know. Like I mean, it's the second best DCU movie we had last year, so I guess that's saying something. But yeah, the movie was just okay. I didn't love it by any means, but it was okay. So yeah, um, Aquaman: The Lost City. If you want to see it, and if you really like the first Aquaman, I mean, maybe for a one-time watch, it's a good experience, but overall, I just thought it was fine. So, which is better than I expected. I'm just glad it wasn't garbage. So, all right, and so for the trailers I got before the movie, I got The Fall Guy. This one actually might be pretty neat. David Leitch is directing it, so that should be good. It's about a Hollywood stuntman, which I always like movies about filmmaking, and Ryan Gosling's in it, so hey, this should be a good film. I really hope to see this one. I got Imaginary. God, how many times am I gonna get this trailer? Yeah, Imaginary, it still just looks like a bland horror film. Like, it doesn't really look that interesting to me, so. I got Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. I'm definitely excited for this one. I can't wait for it. I hope it'll be a good addition to the franchise. I got Bob Marley One Love. I'm also getting this one a lot. I mean, I don't really know what more I could say. I feel I'm gonna repeat myself in every video, but yeah, Bob Marley One Love. I mean, for Bob Marley fans, I'm sure they'll like it. I'm not a reggae fan, so I don't really have a desire to see it, but it's probably good as it is. So I got Challengers. I'm still interested in this one. It might be good. I got Dune Part 2. This one I'm so excited. Probably my most anticipated movie of this year. I can't wait for it. It definitely looks like a big epic experience just like the first movie was, so I'm excited for sure. I don't know if I'll see it opening day, but hey, if I do, it'll be a good day. And I got Furiosa. Again, still haven't seen the Mad Max movies. I don't think I need to, but I'll definitely check them out sometime. And this movie does look like it'll be fun. So yeah, Aquaman: The Lost Kingdom. It's an okay movie. I don't know. I guess if you love the visuals of the first movie, I guess it would be an okay enough theater experience. But if you want a genuinely good movie, maybe just wait for a rental or a stream. I don't know. It's kind of a complicated movie. I mean, again, I liked it more than Blue Beetle and The Flash, but and so I guess there's that. So yeah, the movie was just okay. So yeah, I kind of shocked this wasn't a rant because I had really low expectations for this and had even test screenings for this movie weren't very good, which is funny because the test screens for the Flash were really good and that movie was just but this movie was weirdly better, so pretty ironic. So yeah, Aquaman: The Lost Kingdom, it's okay. I I mean, maybe it's just because I have superhero movie fatigue, but lots of superhero movies, like for the past even several years, haven't been super good. I mean, we have gotten a lot of really good ones, but at the same time, we've gotten a lot of really bad ones. So this was just okay. I mean, hey, I guess there could have been worse ways to spend my day. So yeah, catch you guys in my next video.